Welcome to episode number 54 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins.
Hi.
Ben Wilson at our Trading Cards. I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We're a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast about trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central here on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We are available on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We're going to have a Stadium Club review this week up there. Guys, welcome. How are you doing this week?
Better than last.
Yeah, you're more alive than you were last week?
I mean, by like 10%. And yes, I have the microphone settings right this time. So when I mute, it will actually mute.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. I'm happy to hear that. Ben, how are you doing, bud?
I'm great. It's Stadium Club week.
Yeah. It's got
It's like Christmas in June.
What's a better release, Stadium Club or Series 2?
Come on now.
Stadium Club.
Be serious.
Series 2.
No,
I'm flagship all day.
Stadium Club is the gold standard. Doesn't take anything away from flagship, Heritage, Gypsy, Allen and Ginter, Topps Chrome. They're all great releases, but come on. I mean, you're talking about the greatest set, and man, the imagery that's coming out on some of these super short prints.
We're going to talk about the greatest set ever tonight. It's getting released this week. So we'll get there. The week that was last week's release is Topps Living Week 67. It was a big week. Card 199, Kristen Stewart, rookie outfielder of the Tigers, sold almost 4,900. Card number 200, Michael Trout, outfielder, Los Angeles Angels, sold just a few over 22,000, which I think made him number 5 overall total sold. 201, Martin Prado, third baseman of the Miami Marlins, just over 4,700. The checklist, by the way, there was 2, one for the first 100 cards, one for the second 100. Each sold 4,393. So that's how many 3-card sets, or I guess this week it was 5, that Topps sold. So check out at Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown on where the cards fall respectively in the set by team and by position. We also had 2019 Topps Museum drop as well. Guys, Trout, 22,000, number 5 card. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's the best player in baseball. Has been for years. So I'm not entirely surprised. But 22,000, really?
We didn't think you thought he should be higher? I mean,
I didn't know that it cleared 20.
Yeah.
But just what I know.
Yeah, it seemed a little high, not taking anything away from Trout. It just seemed, based on where we've seen other big-name players like Babe Ruth and stuff, even comparative to Vlad Jr. and things.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was going to get quite that much run, although it was interesting seeing the blend of how much the secondary cards in the checklist jumped. You know, their numbers were higher as well. So you saw a lot of people grabbed the whole set this week.
Yeah. So just a real quick rundown. Ronald Acuna is still number 1 at 46 plus, almost 47,000. Soto was 28.5. Kleber was 28.5. Vlad Jr. 27,750, and Trout 22,017. So he's 5th overall. He's the only non-rookie in the top 8 cards. The other one is if there's Babe Ruth, he's a Hall of Famer, and then Judge is number 9, and Jackie's number 10. So it's interesting that he was up there. I mean, he beat out his teammate Shohei for number 5 on the list, but you know. It's a great number. I'm excited. I think it got some more people looking at the set. I mean, the rest of the week was weak, but the checklist and I think Trout helped out Prado and Stewart's sales for sure.
I think the checklist really was a driving factor in a lot of people buying. I mean, 4,300 people bought checklists. You really think Martin Prado? Nothing against the guy.
No, he's a good player.
4,700. I mean, he's got 2,700 written all over him if he's released this week, which is a strong week.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, he probably beats out Wade Davis, but that's probably the only guy he's beating out.
He's not getting an extra. I mean, we've saw good players, Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famers at 3,300, and then Prado gets 47. I mean, he's driven by not just Trout, but those checklists too.
Okay, real quick, just guys, he sold more than these are guys just right behind Prado. Joe Mauer, Nick Senzel, Chris Sale, Stan Musial. Let's see if I can find some other guys. He outsold Frank Thomas, Ralph Kiner. He outsold Jim Tomei.
The Frank Thomas one did kind of look like butt, though. I mean, let's be serious.
I mean, you're talking about.
Yeah, name value. I mean, Stewart and Prado. Kristen Stewart, nothing against the kid. I know I just said that like 6 times. But there's no reason for him to be outselling some guys like Senzel.
All right, Kristen Stewart sold more than Dustin Fowler. I'm okay with that. And he sold more than the Manny Machado Dodgers one. I'm really good with that. I'm really good with that one. So, no, yeah, and it is what it is. I'm excited. Hot off the presses this week's releases. So week 68 is we're going to move in. Somebody wants to know about Arenado, and give me a sec. I'll find that for us. But this week's hot off the presses, Topps Living Week 63, card 202, Rod Crew Hall of Fame first baseman, Los Angeles Angels.
No, he's not.
They got the team wrong. They put Minnesota Twins, but it should have been the Los Angeles Angels. We all know Rod Carew is an Angel. That's when he
never had a batting title after leaving Minnesota and played more years there.
So it's the wrong team.
Never made the playoffs in Anaheim.
Yeah, but he's not the legend this week. We're going to get to the legend. He's just an after run guy on this list. Card 203, Michael Chavis, rookie third baseman of the Red Sox, and World Series legend, baseball legend, card number 204, Pablo the Panda Sandoval, third baseman of the San Francisco Giants. So I'm really happy this week. I just actually said I'm going to buy the complete set because with it, the crew looks cool even though he's on the wrong team. And Sandoval, falls in my Giants, and then the Royals, obviously, or the rookies, obviously. So I'm excited about this week. And we're just giving, we're just giving Steph a hard time. Really quick, Nolan Arenado was card. He was number 109 overall, or 117 overall, with a few over 4,000 sold. So
got the pictures coming up here.
Yeah, no, there are some good looking photos this week. A lot of people like the Chavis one, Chavis. And he said he started off with banging this year. I mean, that's a good looking. That's an old school. That's a early 60s Rod Carew.
I'd probably say late, but yeah.
Well, okay. And then also two Topps it brought back the living portraits, the prints back. So you can pick those up. They have the autographed ones at like $500, and those are one of ones. And you can buy a print copy for $20. I think they started back at the hundreds. So.
Yeah, 101 through 105 released this week.
Yeah.
I think they're as cheap as $20. It's all dependent on the player, though, as we saw, the first 100, some of them are a little bit more expensive, 30, 40, $50. And then, again, they're only going to be serial numbered up to 100, and they'll be serial numbered based on how many sell. So if only 10 sell, then you get a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is essentially me this week. What with living, Topps Living, and the announcement the other day that there's another artistic renderings of Carew's teammate. Not an A's announcer. Screw you both.
Royals legend.
A's legend. Yeah,
Debatable.
At best, he's a twin third.
He's a senator.
Baseman,
but he's a senator, so technically he falls out of the top 3 as a twin. I don't know why they would go with the Twins, but all right, hey.
Yeah.
4th best team.
Oh, as we teased earlier, 2019 Topps Stadium Club Baseball dropped today, about $78 a box, 16 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. Your box breakdown: 2 autos, 1 beam team, 1 chrome parallel, 1 oversized base variation top loader. That's new this year, and then 1 members only per hobby case. It's a 301 card set, full bleed design with great photos. It's a mix of vets, Hall of Famers, and rookies. 19 Stadium Club marks the first top Sammy Sosa autograph available in regular packs. Ryan Cracknell put in an article. He had some stadium released autographs by Topps, but this is going to be his first ends pack, regular pack autographs. The last time Sosa appeared in a mainstream set was 2014 Topps Archives, but even then, it's an outlier. Prior to 14, his last MLB cards were available in 2008. Also, too, some interesting information is Steph's showing some pictures here. Great photos. We're going to get into that. But Brent Williams put out some information. You have to get, was it 3 perfect collated boxes to build one set?
Yeah.
So he said he's getting 4 to 5 sets a box. He had a limited number this year. And they were going for like, I think $50 or $60. And then if you wanted the Vlad card 301, which is not a short print, they just made they added him at the last minute. It was like he wanted like $75, which isn't bad. I mean, that's the price of a box. And that way you're going to get the full complete set. And I thought about it, and I built a set last year, and it took 3 boxes and then trades to do so. My LCS had some really good prices on them, and I was buying them over time when I was bored, and you know how that happens.
So
but this year is the best photos I've ever seen
in years.
Yes,
easily.
Yeah, no, some of them. I mean, the short prints. Some of them are great. So some of the base cards are actually nicer than some of the photo variations. But Joey Votto, when Cracknell put that one out, it was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me! He's wearing clothes that look like what, like the 20s
All-Star game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. But yeah, that Sandberg is incredible with Willie McGee sliding underneath him. So if you're a guy that likes to collect cameo cards, I think one of our buddies or 2 of our buddies that collect Cubs might grab it too, because the ivy in the background.
Well, that's the Sandberg, but
yeah, it's a lot of fun cards, a lot of great imagery.
Willie McGee,
and then they're all colorized too. I'm like
the Warren Spawn with the leg kick.
The Warren Spawn to Eddie Matthews in front of all the bats is another phenomenal one. There are some really fun cards in this set, whether it's just the base or short.
Show the Reggie Jackson. Look at all the shirtless dudes. Did they not sell shirts in the 70s? No one's wearing a shirt.
I absolutely feel sorry for this kid. Ginger in the back, no sun, probably no sunscreen.
It was exactly. He lived a real childhood.
He's dark redder the next day than his hair.
Oh, he probably died of skin cancer. Let's be honest. That kid's gone. Yeah. No, it's great. And the fact is they have like there's a good Ricky Henderson. I think that was that Kelly Gruber, probably third baseman for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, there's also a photo variation. I've yet to see one, but it's got him with the white jersey's the photo variation. The base is him in green, so that is the short print. But yeah, some of them, Canseco going down it almost looks a lot like the Mookie Betts, them both going down into like the tunnel.
Yeah, and then the Betts parallel with him in the golf cart. It's just a cool card.
Yeah, it is. If you had the financial wherewithal to not just buy a base set for $70, but to put together all the short prints, this would definitely be a fun, expensive, but fun set to chase.
Hey, Steph, go back to that real quick. So the variations, the base ends in 768. The variations are 805. For those of you looking in that fine print, get out your magnifying glasses. It's a good, dude. This is a good for being a limited number of 300 cards. So you're thinking it's about 10 cards a team. Now some teams had 7, some had 11 or 12, but it's pretty evenly distributed. It's a good set, a good list of names. It's one of those things like, man, it's fun.
We're all aware that there are Heritage master set collectors. There are Allen and Ginter master set collectors. That's all they buy. I don't know if that's all they buy, but that's like I knew of one guy that spent like $20,000 a year on Ginter, but that was all he bought. Man, if I had to pull all of my money, no team collecting, no player collecting, just one set, for me it would definitely be Stadium Club. And you'd be talking about thousands of dollars to collect it all, but it'd be a beautiful master set if you could, if you had the patience.
Yeah, McGuire on the right team.
That's two of them wearing the 98 All-Star Game jersey.
Yeah. Oh, you better believe when I saw Mark McGuire as a Cardinal on this checklist, I did a little happy dance because all of his parallels probably cost me $400 to $500 last year, and I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, that Altuve short print is phenomenal with the little girl.
So before I continue scrolling down the short print list, me and Kraken Wax had proposed that this is probably from the All-Star game that Killebrew got injured in. Stretch throw from a California Angel. And, a few people make jokes that he's not wearing socks or shoes. I'd mentioned that the team had made a few trips to Alaska to try to expand the team fan base. And then, Topher said, well, it doesn't quite look right because here's him on the stretcher getting yanked out. Here's the box score for that game. So I went to Getty and I found the image, and yeah, it's from the 68 All-Star game after his injury.
That is cool. And then the fact that it's a black and white, but the card is colorized. I thought Stadium Club did such a great job this year by colorizing the entire set.
Yeah, there's a Christy Mathewson that was really cool too, as I'll pull today.
Christy Mathewson, all of the old images of him are just great. Yeah. Most of them are up close.
Oh, look at the busters; those are cool. I'll have to get both those.
Boy, you went in anyway.
Was that Soto where the Gatorade is almost going to hit him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great one too. The timing of that shot is perfect.
Also, too, there were some people breaking this product saying that the top loaders had damage. So you can only, and it's just kind of hard with those.
Box tops.
Yeah, the box tops. So you can always reach out to Tops. There's a little form you can download, and the reason I know this is I just went through this. I had a pack in one of my jumbo boxes that all the corners were smushed. There was only one pack in the whole box, but of course that's the one that had the autograph in it. So
of course
I mailed them all off. I had to fill out the form, write a little message. I had to send in. I had everything but the wrapper because I'd thrown all the wrappers away, but I still had the box in UPC. So I sent that in, and we'll see. It takes like 2 or 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, and there are some short outside of just the photo variations. The Instavision
those are like one case. I saw Trout today. Woohoo!
How much was he going for?
I was pulled. Mojo pulled in their first box today. Along their first case, they split it. They did 8 boxes and then 8 boxes. The first 8 boxes had that Instavision Trout and a Vlad Jr. auto.
So somebody had told me that he expected them to sell for about $60 to $80 a piece. I grabbed a McGuire today for $25, and then went and looked at. It looked like most of them Ichiro and stuff. They're all selling for about $25 to $30. So, the chrome ones are selling from anywhere from $5 to $25. I mean, when I say selling, that's what they're listed for. So who knows what they're actually gonna.
And that probably sounds about
right. So yeah, the Instavision, the chromes, the box toppers. There are some chase cards outside photo variations. So depending on how deep you want to get in with your favorite player, favorite team, there's some more expensive chase cards. But
yeah, they have the platinum. They had like a platinum 1 of 1, and Cardboard Icon says that Mojo also pulled the Matt Olson 1 of 1, and then they have superfractors as well. I saw someone on Twitter had a Michael Kopech for the White Sox that he pulled. That was his first superfractor, and he pulled that 1 of 1. So there's some neat 1 of 1s to chase down.
Yeah, and then I think they brought back the photographer short print, if I'm not mistaken. I picked up a McGuire last year. They were like numbered out of 10. Well, pack odds out of 10. They weren't actually serial numbered. But those are always kind of fun because it's got the film strip on the side of the card, and it goes well with the unique imagery we see in this set.
Oh yeah, I mean it takes us back. Like 91 was the first year rolled out, and it's continued to always be just really based on the photos, and it's such a great set, and it does get people, takes people back because it's our first premium product that we really had, So it just harkens back to our childhood and that smell and the glossy photos and just the full bleed cards. We were going to talk about 2018-19 Upper Deck Hockey Premier Hockey, but it got pushed back to sometime in July. So we're gonna skip over that tonight. But we also had 2019 Upper Deck Goodwin Champions drop today. $55 a box, 20 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. A box break will net you 3 autographs, relics, manufactured patches, or 3D cards, a combination of those 3. 10 splash of color or Gaudy cards, and 7 minis. The base set's 150 cards, and there's tons of subjects like from basketball, soccer, boxing, tennis, MMA, bowling. There's media people, musicians, actors, motorsports, golf, politicians.
So you'd argue that this set would be a good one for Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V should be in Goodwin Champions.
Yeah.
Also, you can get Michael Jordan autographs. It's really similar, I would say, to what Topps Allen and Ginter.
Nice logo, man.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And then, there's a piece of JFK's briefcase. For a while, a couple years ago, Ben Simmons only autographs were in this set.
Yep.
So it's one of those for if you're looking to kind of collect some random stuff or find autographs or cards of people that might not have product elsewhere.
Yeah, that's not terribly expensive either, which is nice. So if you're a fan of Ginter, it's right up your alley.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so you can be. I see some boxes now up to a price about $90, but I saw them early on for around $55. So as I'm just checking here, because somebody asked $55, and now I'm seeing them around $90. So there must have been something that popped out or got added since I've updated our notes, where these boxes got a little more expensive.
It tends to happen once there's a chase item in there. So
yeah,
there's probably an autograph or two that are going to be a little highly sought after, and that's going to drive that price, whether it holds or not. But I imagine you could probably get a base set on the secondary market for $20-$30 when all is said and done.
Yep.
Well, and I know a few collectors in this local area that you wouldn't think that they're worth all that much, but the cards that are showed at the very end here, and I'm screen sharing again, just to boop, pull it up. These animal cards actually go for a lot.
Is that
I was kind of surprised, but
is that a relic?
It's like a little manufactured cloth stitch type deal.
Well, if we refer back to Allen and Ginter 2018, remember they had like pieces of mermaid tail or something, sure. And they've had dinosaur stuff in the past. And I know last year's all the relics were saying, this is from nothing. Right. And they were still selling for $300-$400 on the secondary market because they're limited quantity. But also, again, you have people, at least with Ginter, that are master collectors that have to have those. So it doesn't surprise me, since this is an unrelated, unaffiliated extension of Allen and Ginter, that these would draw a premium as well.
Yes. No, so it's interesting. A little bit of, I guess, entertainment and sports mixed together. So also coming out today, 2019 Panini Donruss Elite Football, 140 a box, 20 cards per pack, 5 cards per pack. Box break will get you 2 autos, 1 mem, 8 inserts, 6 parallels, and 3 rookie cards. It's a 200-card base set, 100 vets and 100 rookies. All the rookie cards are serial numbered, topping out at $6.99 each. This will be one of the first sets to feature the rookies in their 2019 their NFL uniforms, the 2019 rookie class, their NFL uniforms. There's 12 parallels, though, for each base card. So you're talking 13 cards.
Who do they think they are? Panini Prism?
Oh, or Panini Prism Baseball, which is like, what, 45?
No exaggeration. It's like 26. I just picked up two today of Matt Chapman, and I'm up to 15 of the 26. I mean, it's ridiculous. So Panini's never saw, a parallel it didn't want to put out. So.
Oh, well, we're going to get to that in a sec here. The best set ever is coming out on Friday. No, so it's one of those not entry level, but just a step above products.
So, one Hall of Famer and a bunch of nobodies.
Oh, come on now. I mean, the Bosa boys are always hurt, so they don't really count. And Michael Thomas and Zeke have been pretty good fantasy players.
Hall of Fame, though?
Michael Thomas has a chance, but once Drew Brees retires, he's probably done. No, I mean, elites, it is what it is.
Can we before we move on too much further, can we just touch on Goodwin Champions real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Tim Seeberger in the chat mentioned that there's a Tiger Woods auto relic in that checklist, along with Luka Doncic autos as well. So
I could have pushed the price.
With Woods winning the Masters, it's definitely possible that the MSRP was 55, and now that the product is live and we know that there's some goodies in there. So we appreciate that information. It's definitely, those alone could drive the price.
Oh, yeah. And it's his first time live with us, and he's got a great first name. So, Tim, welcome, bud.
Mediocre at best, but okay. He gave us good information. So, and by the way, I mean, his initials are TS, no less.
That's true. I mean, that makes him almost even better.
Best Tim watching the show right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not watching it because I'm driving it.
Hey-oh. Something like that.
Just don't hit any beavers.
Beavers.
Backseat driver.
Here we go. The best set of the year ever. Maybe the best set ever. Launching this Friday. 2018-19 Panini Chronicles Basketball. $120 a box. 6 packs per box. 8 cards per pack. You're going to get 2 autographs. It's a 699 card base set. They couldn't find a 700th card. Panini Chronicles.
Aren't there only 360 players at any given time on an active roster?
Well,
where are you coming up with the other 339?
Here we go. Panini Chronicles basketball cards are combined brands that wouldn't have made their checklist or release calendar this year. It's only 21 different sets. You guys are ready? Ready for the 21 sets? Here we go. Chronicles, something called Panini, Luminance, Playoff, Essentials, Marquee, Elite, Studio, Elite Black Box, Majestic, Plates and Patches, Gala, Titanium, Vanguard, Chronicles Rookies, Crusade, Obsidian Preview, Phoenix, Rookies and Stars, Classic, and Score. So they took basically every brand from every sport and just shoved it into a product and said, here you go.
As if Plates and Patches wasn't already annoying enough.
They did that last year with baseball too. You want to talk about
dumpster.
You want to talk about trash. I mean,
just dump.
We were talking about when we had Dub on about Philip Phillips. It's like, who would name your kid Philip if your last name was Phillips, right? Here you're looking at the checklist, and one of the subsets is called Panini. It's like, we have 20 sets, guys. We really should shove a 21st one in there. What should we call it?
Panini.
Just name it Panini.
And you know what it is? Funny. It's actually a sandwich.
I love paninis.
If they wanted to avoid that, they could have just called it Donruss.
Yeah,
it's Donruss basketball. So it's just, and then I think each one had like 6 or 7 parallels too.
Oh boy.
Bronze, green, pink, red, number to 149, blue, number to 99, purple to 49, gold to 10, platinum 101.
So yesterday I was kind of chatting back and forth on a live stream with Dan from Mojo. They were doing some personal breaks and they had some downtime. And I brought this up and he started laughing and he goes, and I said, they were giving away Father's Day packs when he bought certain Panini products. And he said the Father's Day thing was so bad this year. And I now know why they didn't represent it, because they've sold through so much of even their crappiest basketball product this year. They had nothing really left to initiate a push to sell, because that's why they have the Father's Day packs. They say, hey, you'll get X number of Father's Day packs for every box of this product that's sitting on the shelves right now. But there was almost nothing left on the shelves because the rookie class had been driving this year's product so much. They were doing retail blasters.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, of like NBA threads or, I don't know, a couple of other terrible products. And that's why they had to buy so much of that stuff to get the Father's Day packs. And he was talking to a distributor, and only one store bought in to to give back, to actually get the packs that actually did the program. One store.
Boy. Yeah.
What are you doing there, Steph?
So you preface that by saying, you know who I feel bad for?
I feel bad for the store owners.
Well, to tie that back into Chronicles, which comes out this week, about the cards, we've been trying to be extremely diligent on getting product reviews up on our website. So I feel really bad for whoever the three of us ends up having to write.
Already have it written.
No. 3, 2, 1, not it. I'm not writing that one.
I'll write it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find a dumpster. I'm going to pour some gas in it. I'm going to light it on fire and take a picture, and there's the review.
That might be doing too much work for that.
I'm sure it's a very nice product. Bless its heart.
No. It's that box. When you're organizing your stuff, and you have just a bunch of crap left over that you're like, I don't know what to do with. It doesn't fit in my PC. It's not my team, not my guy, whatever. And then you were like, you feel bad. You're like, I give it to a friend, but just a bunch of hot garbage, and they're going to think I think of them really poorly.
Well, yeah,
because you just kind of tuck it away.
I know this is nothing but 89 and 90 Donruss with themed corners in a binder to match and sleeves that are falling apart, but I'm going to sell you this at the low down price of $140 because we're friends.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun product. So maybe we'll have to revisit that once we see it. And so Tim, tell us what's brewing next week.
What's brewing next week's release is 2019 Topps Complete Factory Set, Series 1 and 2, with a Vlad Jr. numbered parallel. And then also 2018-19 Upper Deck Clear Cut Hockey. It's kind of a bad week, and the reason being is 4th of July. So the 4th of July week is always a little light, especially it being on a Thursday. So we will cover those two brands.
Yeah, but
I'm excited. I always buy the factory set for my son, put it away. So.
Yeah, looking at the July release calendar, there overall it's kind of ho-hum with Optic and Ginter. Immaculate Tribute, clearly authentic. That's one of Tim's clubhouse favorites.
Ginter is going to be fun.
Topps Chrome if it sticks at the 31st. So kind of a mismatch of products throughout the month, but mostly kind of weak overall. Ginter and Chrome obviously are solid, but a lot of garbage.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of filler stuff.
Yeah, but
I mean, the Ginter and Chrome is going to dominate. It's going to take a lot of pocketbook money. It's going to take a lot of your change.
Yeah, they got a couple big boys.
Highly collectible sets.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they did it.
Honestly, the summer months, June, July, August, are bad with Series 2 and Stadium Club and Ginter and Chrome and as we get into August, 5-star at the tail end. Luminary is another big product. We're always assuming that all these dates stick.
It's funny though. Topps is pretty good about staying on their calendar. And Panini too. But we'll get to that. Infield chat, our hobby talk section, guys. We have a few topics here. I want to big congratulations. Nick Wasika that was on our show, the photographer, a freelance guy that we had on the show a couple weeks back. I love Nick. Feel like we're best friends with Nick. Sent out a tweet. He said, unlocked another level in my real life game of freelance sports photography with the release of it 2018-19 Upper Deck SP Hockey Retail. Work was used on the box and the pack wrapper. So this is a photo that Nick took.
Very nice, sir.
And now it's on boxes and packs. Congratulations, Nick. That is awesome.
We should reach out to Nick and see if somebody wanted to send him a flattened box, if he would sign it and send back. Pack because of the gloss. I don't know if that would hold a.
I would buy a blaster just to send it to him to have him autographed. I'd probably just throw the cards away because who cares about hockey? Hey. But I would definitely do that.
And if you just cut out the front of it, you probably could fit it in a nice little 5x7 frame. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do that.
Hey, you know what we should do?
I'm doing that.
This is a good idea. Hey, we don't get very many light bulb ideas. How about
get very many light bulb ideas? This show was a light bulb idea of mine.
Okay, if that's what you want to say.
A pretty good light bulb.
Okay, here's a light bulb idea. How about we buy one, We send it off to Nick. I'm sure he'd be gracious enough to sign it, send it back to us, and then we can do a giveaway.
Ooh, I like that.
You know,
I like that a lot.
but I wouldn't mind having one for my personal collection too. So maybe we'll grab a couple for
blasters.
ourselves. But yeah, if we grab a couple of blasters, maybe we can send some off and have 1 or 2 on a giveaway and share Nick's
cards.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Or James, Philly Puck fan. He's a good friend of the show who's been featured on here.
He comes up later on the show.
We can always give him to Angela.
The man's a little hot.
Well, and James is still going to come on at some point to talk about the history of O-Pee-Chee with us. So hey,
I think we need to get him right as the hockey season drops, the puck drops in the hockey season,
which is when?
October.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
close enough.
Right?
Nobody cares.
I mean, if we're counting their version of spring training, no, it's closer to like beginning of September. But who's counting?
Yeah, but
which kind of works out because like 2 days before my birthday, the Minnesota Wild are in Dallas playing the Stars. Not saying I want a ticket or anything, but hi, Angela.
Aren't they the league that
covered the NFL and NHL draft? And I think American went number 1.
I was just about to mention that. Aren't they the ones where like the finals ends in like 48 hours? They're drafting already. I thought the NBA was bad. It seems like oh hey, the Blues won. All right, with the first pick of the 2019 draft.
The NBA draft was the day before the NHL draft.
It was. They were back to back.
So then the NBA season ended after the NHL season.
Also, Ben, check your DMs.
Ooh, did you slide into his DMs?
Obviously, and now everybody knows about it.
Ooh, feel dirty just listening. So congratulations, Nick. And then where have you gone, Brandon Drew? If it's about me,
it's not only about you, it's highly let's just put it this way.
Send it my way.
It's not safe for work. I mean, it's kind of safe for work.
Send it my way. Brandon Drury, where have you gone? Still, this is from Brent, our buddy. Still number 686, Top Series 2, Brandon Drury foil parallel in the wild. Have not seen or heard of one.
At this point, it's been out long enough that we have to just assume that it doesn't exist.
Like I said, I wasn't doing anything.
So,
by the way, we'll be taking applications for co-hosts this week.
Next week and every week.
Yeah, so Drury probably doesn't exist since it's been out for a few weeks now. I mean, we have to assume 2 weeks.
And Brent's opened up 90 cases.
But that's the thing is, it's been out 2 weeks, but we saw Stadium Club live on Monday. We see these products live days early.
No, I'm just saying. So it's been at least 2 weeks, and the man opened 90 cases and didn't see one.
Well, thousands of cases have been opened at this point. Something would have given. So we have to assume that there's no Drury. I'm glad he's not an A because I'd be upset if I were a team collector.
Yeah.
Of his team,
To answer a question from chat, I only really PC collect one player, so I have none that fall in that range. Ooh.
What are secrets?
What
secret sauce is on the screen there?
But no, I don't really have any parallels that I need for my personal player. In that I actually went and looked last night, and I only need 3 autos left. The lowest numbered is 10 out of 10. And
player, maybe we can help you along.
Ryan Eads, 2013 Bowman Draft Chrome Edition. And 2014 Bowman. I need a number 2, 3, I think.
Why don't you put that out?
One base, 3 auto, and some supers. But even then, I have like 55% of all the 1-1s until Topps updates come out because he did make his Major League debut this year.
Yeah. Also, guys, by the way, Chef Chris, a friend of the show, is looking for Ramon Laureano like low numbered parallels. So if you see any of those at Chef Chris 49er, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, one of my Twitter friends who's always on the A's broadcast because he's a huge pin collector, and he's usually featured because he wears like a vest filled with Oakland A's and other pins. He and I were going back and forth because if Chris dies, we both want that Laureano collection because it is gorgeous. And I thought he was nuts.
Chris is probably in better health than the two of you, though.
Oh God, I'm sure, definitely better than me. I thought he was nuts.
After you told us last week, you have like the sweats.
I got all kinds of stuff, dude. That's one of 1,000 things. But I thought that dude was crazy when he did that first Laureano rainbow.
He's doing them all.
And then he had a second. And man, in the buffet of Ramon Laureano, he has went back to that buffet time and time again. And
did you see his cool Stadium Club card though? It has the stupid Ricky Field thing, but that's kind of neat too. But I mean, a field after someone like.
Oh, stop! You're just jealous. Who are you guys going to name?
Safeco Field on the Safeco Stadium, the Ken Griffey Jr. Field, the Randy Johnson Mound.
Oh, the Royals are playing on the Alex Gordon Field. I mean, come on.
That would never happen.
On the Brett Saberhagen Gate. I mean, come on.
It wouldn't happen either.
Nobody cares.
Only in the odd years with the Saberhagen Gate worked, just like his pitching career. The man was only good in odd numbered years. I tweeted that out one time to him, and he agreed.
Well, when you make a statement of fact, I mean, he's just like, hey, honey, look, somebody tweeted at me.
So speaking of fact, Leaf Babe Ruth bat. So Ben sent this our way via Facebook. I'm not a huge Facebook fan, but I did have some fun with it. And I said, hey, tweet, and I said to retweet, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to come out. And they actually came back and said something. And real quick, the tweet you sent out was just pulled from the Leaf product. Apparently, black bats didn't exist until the 1970s. Definitely not in the 1930s. There's also no public record of how Leaf acquired this, according to a conversation on Facebook. Leaf later, there was a big conversation that went back and forth. And here's the picture of the bat. The bat is not black. It is very dark brown bat. It's authentic game used bat by Babe Ruth. ... So Chef Chris actually was in Boston recently to watch the Boston Red Sox and A's, and he took a picture of a Babe Ruth stuff. And there's a bat where he's got like a black band at the very top, and then it looks like maybe one on a handle. But the little black bands right there. Now that's where it maybe could have come from. But the owner of the LCS where this card was pulled said, it was a very dark brown bat. I mean, it would have to be the darkest brown I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And also, too, they never came out and said where or how they acquired the bat. I just wanted to know out loud, since we're live tonight, what your guys' thoughts on this.
The conversation on Facebook, they posted the bat, and the guy basically was inquisitive initially, was like, I didn't think black bats were around. And there were some, Joe Jackson had one called Black Betsy, I believe. And, but the overall consensus were they weren't very common up until the 70s, and define black because there was a lot of darker brown bats, or, a medium to dark roast, if we're talking coffee colors. But ultimately, it wasn't as common or prevalent until the 70s. And if you just do Babe Ruth bat and look through Google Images, you're hard pressed to find anything too dark in his hands. Not to suggest that Leaf is lying about it, but at the end of the day, there should be public record of the auction of how they acquired the bat, and that's kind of why I brought it to Twitter's attention and tagged them. Was, hey, according to the Facebook conversation, this is what it was. Now what?
Yeah, even Black Betty is a dark brown.
Yeah. Yeah, and without being able to hold that card in person, it's tough to say. But it's a 101, and it's from a fairly high priced product, and It should be authentic, and there should be, Leaf should come out with full transparency and say, hey, boom, here it is. We bought it at auction for X amount of dollars. What now?
And see, here's a dark black brown bat, but it's not even close to that color that's in that card. So anyway, this moves on to my point that my hot take tonight, and you guys don't have to agree or hop in on this, but the Leaf is trash. Their products never release on time. Their cards are basic, and they rely on other companies for quality product because their most popular releases are repack products. And they were supposed to have a product this week that came out. They were supposed to have one, and like Leaf Flash football we talked about, and then it didn't come out for like 6 more weeks after we talked about it. And I kept seeing it. I was like, we're not even going to mention it. Furthermore, I'm not adding them to our release calendar or to the show notes, or am I going to preview their product anymore? If you guys feel different, let me know. But the thing is they're never on time, and I don't want to have to keep going back and not knowing until the day of, oh shit, the product didn't release because of whatever, because Brian Gray went to Whataburger and forgot to, PWE it out to all of his customers. So
no, there's another product that escapes me, like Hits or something like that, some garbage product. I've seen a few Chris Davises in the wild when I'm looking for other licensed and even Panini stuff. But Onyx, there's other products. Leaf just seems like they're in that same category. I mean, we were talking about it pre-show that same product where that Babe Ruth came out of, a Ricky Henderson. You have 4 people on there, 4-person relic, and he's on there with Emmitt Smith, Martin Brodeur, and John Stockton, which I'm assuming is all-time stolen base, all-time rushing, all-time assists, and again, I am not a hockey fan, so I don't know what Brodeur would be on there for, but who would want that combination of players? I mean, who would go out there and seek that out and go, this is a nice card for me to add to my, any one of those guys' collection? It's just like
the other one that you sent us earlier was Griffey, Favre, Shaq, and Allen Iverson. Now it has a picture of Griffey, Favre, and Shaq. For Allen Iverson, it's just a number 3.
I saw Ted Williams along with 2 other players today, and it's the back of his jersey. Yeah. It's like it seems like something that we would make at home because
I mean, I can see like Tanner Jones has made better cards than this.
Oh God, yeah. If you have the wherewithal and the ability to make cards at home, you could make something better than what Leaf makes.
Here, I'll bring up that card. Here's the card.
To answer your question, he holds the all-time goalie record for wins.
So I understand.
Okay, real quick. Why wasn't it the all-time wins leader in baseball, hockey, the all-time winningest, NBA coach or player, and then the most wins by NFL starting quarterback? Like that's just anyway. So here's that card. And what do these 4 guys have in common? They played in the 1990s?
Yeah. All-time enshrined 4. What does 4 mean? Was Ken Griffey Jr. number 4?
Yeah.
It's not even numbered to 4.
No, I mean, so Griffey had a 4 in his jersey. Favre had a 4. Shaq had a 34 for a little. Allen Iverson always wore 3.
Even if they were all number 4, that's still in – that Favre jersey doesn't really look like anything the Packers would have worn unless it was like one of the
No, it's because they had to take the logo off his helmet.
Right.
It's a Packer jersey, but they had to take all the logos off of it.
I mean,
it's a weak-looking card with a purple border, which has nothing to do with any of those. I mean, why not break up that card into 4s where you've got, a Mariner blue in the top left corner and a green or a yellow for the Packers and a
because when you're printing at home, it's kind of hard.
That product is trash. There's a reason that Leaf was very quick to, that was a game-used bat. Okay, well, then show us the auction records, my man. Let's get serious now. Full transparency.
We're all going to get banned by Leaf now anyway. I mean, they banned, they blocked the sport, they banned Colin and Ryan for speaking truths.
See, but this isn't even like a legal thing. This is just we're collectors saying, dude, we would not collect your stuff because it's trash. Make a better, more reputable product, and I'll be more than happy to collect Leaf. I'm an A's fan
of not paying for the licensing because that's expensive, and but at the same time, make a quality product and don't rely on your best sellers or other people's products. That's all I'm saying.
And I've been called out for talking too much about my A's collection on the show before, which is fine because now it's extremely relevant. Why wouldn't I want that Ricky Henderson card? Because I don't want the other 3 guys on that card, dude. Make a good product.
Plus,
if you want us to come back, yeah, it's trash, man.
Yeah, they've been like the top 4 stolen base guys of all time. It's all something different. Those guys Ricky competed against or beat.
Yeah, put Lou Brock and Vince Coleman and
Tim Raines. Don't forget Tim Raines. Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Hall of Famer, dude. First, he should have been a first ballot, dude. Why do you hate him so much?
Because he wasn't good.
He was great, dude. Okay.
For 6 years, he was good.
Hall of Famer, dude. Write it down.
6 years, he was a good baseball player.
Enshrined next to Harold Baines.
Jesus. Well, he sucked too.
Jim Rice, dude. Come on.
Too. You know, he was the highest paid baseball player for like 2 years in the mid 80s, by the way.
And he was feared. If you ask pitchers back then, they're like, we feared Jim Rice.
They probably also feared Mike Easler.
How is that quantifiable data? Dude, Jim Rice was clutch.
Let's not even go down that road.
I was going to say.
Sorry, Steph. We got all excited there.
No, you're good.
You still need to do cash to trash. Our
Leaf
prospects list
has done some decent products in the past, and I only bring this up because this initially came up in my search for my player collection, and it looks nice. They had different inscriptions. I think they ran it for 1 or 2 years as far as in this general style.
Yeah.
Well, an LSU uni.
Quality photo of an MLBer.
Right. Well, minor league, college at the time, but fresh out getting drafted.
Guys on the podcast, the picture's the size of a penny.
So my complaint is, one, when they released the checklist, they said that there's a number to 25 edition that I've never seen of any of the players in this line. So that doesn't exist. But 2, I mean, some of the cards do look nice, and I do like the idea of telling the players, hey, no, really, get creative with your inscriptions. Or the patch versions where they're slightly better than just a regular square gray patch. However, what they did that I didn't like, they screwed up and released holiday bonuses in packs. So they took what they couldn't sell, stamped it with a thing, wrote on it if they could, and re-released them all throughout the year. So there's, a holiday bonus 1 of 1 in green foil, a holiday bonus in red foil, a holiday bonus in pink foil, whatever they could get to sell. And if you've already released the checklist for a set and you know that these are the cards that you'll have to chase down because these are the ones that you want and these are the parallel lines, well, now you've added 4 or 5, who knows how many different color foil holiday bonus cards in different lines. And then, even more so, years after the fact, they started dumping retro bonus proofs that weren't even mentioned when the set was released. Nobody had ever heard of them. It sounds like they were just trying to backdoor what they had. And, if that's not what happened, and maybe it's a misinterpretation of my point, but that just seems, as a collector, what had happened. And, I'm trying to collect 1 of 1s of my player, but if you're just going to stamp it and stamp it and stamp it, I'm not even going to bother checklisting them at that point.
Well, and to follow up on the argument back and forth, that fun Tim and I were having, you show Trinity, which is actually a really nice prospect-based product. I'd be more than happy to add one of my favorite players because it's a nice looking card. All that does is invalidate everything else that they throw out there because it shows that they're capable of putting together a quality product that's unique and original, that's not a buyback. And then, they just shit themselves for the next, 11 and a half months out of the year. Come on. You're better than that. And if you want to be one of the big boys and be taken serious when you go to the national and cry about exclusivities in the hobby, then it's time to start being serious. And if they want to block us for what we had to say tonight on today's show, cool. Hey, more power to you. All you're doing is showing, your inability to interact with the hobby, because all we're doing is asking for a better product.
Yeah, that's all we want. Anyway, so also some bad news here. Mike Summer that's been on the show has been banned. He can't listen to the show. I've made sure I've talked to iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube, and they're blocking his feed to the show because of this meme he put up. He wanted people to, caption a picture of me. So he has been banned from the show. He will no longer come back on. But the best caption does go to @PhillyPuckFan. Not everyone gets a trophy. There it is, right there. Yeah.
Can we name some of the other best ones out of?
Yeah, no,
out
there
of
were
there?
some good late entries, by the way.
No.
Like, not yours. Yours was dumb.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, yours was dumb. Have you seen my baseball cards? Was pretty good.
Yeah, there was a few references to Goonies because of just the expression on your face and sloth related. Have you seen my baseball from There's Something About Mary? The I wipe my own backside from Big Daddy, that was mine. I thought that was good.
That wasn't good.
And that was great. Franks and Beans. And Baby Ruth. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Hey,
you guys was also really good.
Yeah, there was a couple of clever ones, and shout out to everybody playing along. Mike's a great guy.
Brent, got any $90? I like that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun with it. So definitely look up the Mike Summer and
Mike Summer's not bad. I just
scroll back. When did he post it? He posted it yesterday at 5:30. So if you want to go read through all of the fun responses, and
Steph just dropped it into the chat as well.
Yeah, that's what's fun is the interaction he had and some other friends of the show and stuff. And then he posted one about me, and I put please don't do this to me from Big Daddy because hey, it's all in good fun. Mike's a good guy, and we'll in fact we invited him on week before.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Mount Rushmore doing.
He's like, I'm going to Mount Rushmore, and I was like, you know what? Screw you. You can see that it's been around for a long time, probably close to 100 years now.
Whatever, it's just some rock.
Yeah, dude, come on.
It's the only thing to see in South Dakota.
Probably true. So this question was posted last week, and we just didn't have time with such a packed show.
It's authorized March 3rd, 1925, for what it's worth.
All right. So no eBay comps. How do you price your cards? So at APKS or AP. Oh wow, Tim, I can talk tonight. At
APK Sports 1.
Correct. I hate when there aren't many comps for cards on eBay. I just listed a card and it sold within 20 minutes. I'm glad it sold, but now I'm thinking I underpriced it. So how do you price cards without comps? Do you go to Beckett and use the Beckett?
You go to ComC, obviously.
No, so what do you do? So you have if it's a newer product, you're kind of speculating on what it should sell for. But what do you do? Like, if it's an older product and maybe there's just not very much of it, or it was a low run product, low numbered, do you look at something like a ComC? You try to look up what you can through eBay. You do have Beckett, which is, as we know, Ben's gonna say 30-day old information. But again, that could be relevant based on if one has not sold in a while, it could still mean something there, right? So what do you guys do?
So before Ben gives his expert analysis in his
Ben Bernanke comes
program field here, and I'm not cutting him down at all. He knows I mean that well. But there's two ways. You can either A, take a guess and list it, or B, list it 99 cents and let it ride.
Exactly.
You can, when you're listing it, you can compare it to similar, like if you have two silver parallels at a 500, whatever. Compare those. Well, this player's slightly better, so give a slight bump over that. A Mike Trout versus, say, Juan Soto. Not that Juan Soto is bad; he's a great player, but Mike Trout's Mike Trout.
Or Mike Trout versus Chris 247 Davis.
Exactly. Or Ricky Henderson versus La Tortuga.
Yeah, La Tortuga.
Obviously. But, you can play games like that where you compare, this is slightly similar. Or, even, hey, this is numbered to 99, so it has a slight premium over what I have. But it's the same player. Okay, well, scale it back just a tad and price it at that. What do you think, Ben?
No, I honestly...
I had all your points?
Honestly, you did.
Damn.
Let's assume that auctioning the the card isn't an option, just for the sake of discussing this. There are always comps, but Steph mentioned it. If you've got a brand new product, Instavision comes out right on Stadium Club. What did they sell for the last time they were made? Okay, well, they weren't made before, for example. Look at the players market, compare similar products of Mike Trout to other Mike Trout cards that have sold from other products, and understand the difference between Stadium Club and Big League Baseball, and try to find something from, say, Heritage that might be similar enough to understand what the market might bear. And when in doubt, go a little high and put it at a best offer. If you think it may be a $50 card, put it at 70 and see if anybody bites. And speak to APK's point where it's sold in 20 minutes. Sometimes you have a motivated buyer. I want to grab this, even if I might be spending a little bit much. I mean, he might have got a really good deal on it, as a seller's perspective. Who knows?
Or maybe it was right at what it's worth.
Yeah,
I've been selling a lot lately, and when I busted the case, like there were some parallels and stuff I put up, and I kind of looked at some comps, but it was early on, and so I was like, okay, well, I feel like if I got, say, $10 for this card, I'd be fine with it. So I put it at 15, and I've sold. It took a couple of like a week or two, and then those cards today I sold 3 of them, and people took $3 off what I had it listed for. Boom, instantly I accepted. Because they thought they got a good deal. 2, I got a good deal because I figured $10. They bought it for 12 or 15 or whatever it happened to be, and they're getting their card. So,
well, and Ben mentioned they think they got a good deal. Similarly, just last night, I got store credit from some competitions we've had with the NBA and NHL playoffs. So I got fresh money in my account, and I see that for the right price, there's a 1-of-1 Leaf Memories set. Not that I was looking to spend a ton of my credit because I want to mail to me what I have in my account. However, for $5, yeah, I'm going to add a 1-of-1. And I did, because you're adding one to the collection, and for that price, yeah, it's a great deal. And it just happened to get listed yesterday.
That's
so
cool.
Kismet, if you will.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just a little way to do that. Also talking about eBay. So Ben brought this to our attention too. eBay scam that's going around. So I'm gonna let him get into this. But it's starting to get, I think, bigger. I think you brought this to our attention almost 2 weeks ago, give or take.
Actually, Chef Chris brought it to my attention in a DM, and he was the one that kind of said, "I think this is a scam. What do you think?" And then I saw something on Facebook a couple of times this week, and I don't have all the details, and we're not 100% certain exactly how it works. A lot of this is just secondhand information at this point. So just kind of beware. Essentially what's happening, we've had multiple buyers are reporting similarly worded messages from sellers, and they're asking you to cancel the order. They're basically saying that they either had the wrong email on their account or funds are being held. And what they're saying is, Tim, you just bought this card for me for $10. I need you to cancel because of one of these reasons. And then Tim agrees, but what I say is, hey, I'm going to relist it, and I need you to buy it from me again at $10. I'll accept it. That way you're still getting it. But when they cancel that first order, for whatever reason, it's showing Tim, the buyer, that it's canceled. But the money's not actually being refunded into his account. It's staying with me, the seller.
Because as the seller, you refund it back to them.
Right. So as far as you go on eBay, you see canceled order, I got my $10 back in theory. And then what I'm doing is I'm asking you buy it again. So Tim buys it again, gives me another $10. So now I've got $20 of his. And then I'm going to go ahead and slow ship it over like 10 days to get around some of the bylines of eBay or PayPal or something. Tim gets the item 10 days from now for what he thinks is the $10. What I've done is I've went ahead and, taken $20 of his, $10 legitimately, and all is good. So as long as the buyer's seeing cancel, they might not realize they have the funds back. Personally, I know where every penny I have goes. I imagine there are people out there that aren't as conscious of what they've got in their checking, savings, and PayPal accounts. What's that?
A checkbook.
I did. Well, I mean, it's a checkbook ledger and an Excel sheet, so it's a digitalized checkbook. But yeah, I know exactly where I've got. So if you didn't give me my if you didn't give me my $10 back, I'm gonna know. So if you're not paying attention, there's a really easy way for these sellers to basically steal your money. So without you physically calling PayPal and ensuring that those funds have been refunded, they're not doing these on $50 cards, $100 cards where it's noticeable. They're doing these on $4, $5 cards where over time it's going to add up. You know, think of the scam in Office Space, the movie, where they were just going to take that percentage of a penny and funnel it into account. And over the course of a couple of years, it's going to end up being a lot of money. If you do multiple hundreds of transactions like this. So the way you can protect yourself is if you ever have a cancellation, just ensure that the money ends up getting back into the right account, whether it be PayPal or refunded into your checking account. But also, if a seller comes to you and says, hey, I need you to cancel and rebuy, don't. Even call eBay or PayPal and report it.
Proof of them doing the refund. Have them you cancel it, then have the seller cancel it, and then send you proof of the refund.
Or and something sketchy, just buy from someone else.
The other thing too, one thing to keep in mind, all of the ones that I've come across, and it's been like 4 or 5 people now that have mentioned something similar, they've all been from low feedback sellers, like, in the 10 to 15 range. So just be careful of that too, because it does lead credence to the fact that PayPal funds can be held. I mean, that's a legitimate thing for somebody that's brand new with a new account, because they haven't hit the thresholds to have those. So just be careful. If it smells fishy, it probably is. Contact eBay, make sure that money goes back, and when in doubt, do exactly what everybody else has done.
You also can check them out with Replin too and see if they have any feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. On Replin is a good resource on Twitter. So give them a follow, tag them, see what On Replin can say about them. Just like anything, right? Do your due diligence and your homework, and just be careful, and always ask a buddy when in doubt.
Ask a friend. So, yeah, no, and there's so many things, so many little scams out there. We just want to bring it to your attention because, that does happen. But if a seller ever takes your money, then asks you to cancel the transaction, that's weird. And definitely get eBay involved on that. Let's get these scum out of there. There were some. So it was funny. I was listening to the Mojo podcast today, and they were talking about Doug was talking about collecting 91 Stadium Club, and with his dad building that set, and how at one point it was worth a lot of money, and slowly went down to almost a tenth of what it was worth at the time, and how he lost his feeling about the hobby. Now, it brought an interesting question to me, and I didn't put it in the show notes because I didn't hear until after I got them done, but it brought a big question to me. So, as a kid in the hobby, when you were a kid, when you first started collecting, did you collect because of the monetary value, or did you collect because of I know Mike Summer had a tweet out about this. He was running a poll, but as a kid, when you were a youngster, did you collect because of the money involved in it, the money you were going to make, or the fun of the hobby and what you were doing, the interactions and the memories that you had? Ben?
I was going to wait for Steph to go first. No, as far as when I was collecting, it was something to do with my cousin. It was something that I had done with my dad. That's what it was. It was for the fun of collecting my favorite players on not only A's cards, but coming of age in the late '80s. In the hobby, I went back and collected Bob Welch and Mike Moore and Dave Stewart and Dave Henderson and all the late '80s A's greats on their previous teams as well. And the only time I ever gave a second thought to anything from the monetary aspect as a kid was when I wanted the '85 McGuire USA card, when I wanted the '86 Donruss Canseco or Topps Traded, and they were expensive to me. that's the only time I ever cared was what am I going to have to do around the house to earn $20 to be able to afford this particular card that I want. I couldn't care less, honestly, what my PC was worth. And to this day, I really don't care either. In fact, both you guys know that I ended up blocking a knucklehead on Twitter over it when he came back at me and with just asinine comments. Oh, you don't care? I care if my whole PC appreciates. Why? It's your PC. You're collecting it because you enjoy it. I spent $5.
I have to move these trouts to start collecting.
It's like I spent $5 on this card. I don't care if it's $1 next week. Yeah, it's going to upset me a little bit because I could have got it for cheaper. But you know what? That $5 is done and spent. If it becomes a $10 card, I mean, we brought this up before with the Ramon Laureano Topps Now cards from last year, that all of a sudden became $100 for no good reason the following week. And it's like, would I sell the one I have that I paid $5 for? That's a great investment, right?
Or if you bought two, you'd probably sell one.
But why would I have bought the second? Because I only need one for my collection.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes on those cards, like with the Topps Living, where I'll buy an extra one. Or I'll buy a third one because one, I need, like, say it's a rookie, right? And I'll buy it from the set I'm making of the rookies. But two, if I think that I like the player and I think there's a big future, I might buy a second one to put in my collection because I don't count that set. I want to have a second card of that guy that's loose that could go in his, like, little player collection. Sometimes I'll buy a third or a fourth because, hey, I think this end up later on, I could flip and make some money and buy some more cards of his, right? But as a kid, I never thought that way. And real quick, as you bring up Hendo, when I was a kid, when I first moved to California, there was some repack stuff that had a Dave Henderson on the Giants. And here's the card.
Mm-hmm. Flicker.
Okay, well, it's Dave Henderson 88 Fleer on the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And does that just give everybody watching a seizure? But that was in like a $5 repack at like Rayleigh's, the grocery store here. One of my friends bought it. Another friend paid $20 for it. You know why? None of us have ever seen Dave Henderson in a non-A's uniform.
Right.
Because our recollection in 90 or 91 of Dave Henderson was as an Oakland A. We couldn't imagine him on another team. And it blew our minds. Like Dusty Baker. In 87 Topps was another one.
He was a Giant, yeah.
Giant was a big one. There's a couple guys like that we were just like, what? No. And just blew our minds. And it was like that card instantly had a huge monetary value to us because we'd never seen it, even though there were thousands of them out there.
Right.
And that's what it was, right? And I collected for fun. I collected to do with my buddies and to go to shows and spend time with my dad, all that stuff. And it wasn't about the money. It was cool if you got an expensive card, yeah. But it wasn't about that. It was about finishing the set. It was about getting that team or that one player, that one card you'd never seen before, like the Bart Giamatti card when he passed away. That was a big card with all this, right, when he was commissioner. So I don't know, Steph, what was your feeling? Because you grew up
about a decade after you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
You're about 10 years behind us. So what was it like for you with growing up and collecting?
Well, and I definitely agree with some of the sentiments in that, some of the cards may have looked nice, the Griffeys, the Maguires, the Sosas, the players that made huge runs in the mid to late 90s and that made baseball fun again, quote unquote. And there's nothing against those, and I definitely respect some of them, especially Griffey's swing. But, I'd much rather have, and I can rattle off everyone on the 2001, 2002 Twins, Pierzynski, Minkiewicz, Luis Rivas, Jock Jones, Tom Prince, Chad Allen, Major League spares, but I'd much rather have their cards than a Griffey shiny. Whereas, even when I briefly dabbled in Pokemon because I was living in Japan at the time, Okinawa specifically, yeah, for 3 years, 9/11/1999 to about May 12th, 2002.
That's awful specific. About May 12th. Just say.
Well, so
From
I know when
99
I
to
know when we left
kicked him out.
because it's the day Eric Milton threw a no-hitter.
Oh,
Oh dear Lord.
And that was nice to land to find out that the Twins not only had won, but we threw a no-hitter.
So let me get this straight. I'm a nerd or a dork because I have a checkbook ledger in an Excel spreadsheet.
because that's available online to you, by the way, through your bank.
Yeah, but you don't. Okay. Anyhow, I'm a dork for having that, but he's not a dork for knowing that I moved out of Japan because Eric Milton threw a no-hitter.
But I want to remember if it was just a regular 3-4 win.
Real quick, the first job I ever had, my hire date was 4/20/96. It also happened to be the day of the NFL draft where Keyshawn Johnson was taken #1 overall.
What a garbage draft.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But what I was going to add for Pokemon was that, some of the Jigglypuffs and Bulbasaurs are nice, but at the time, the shiny cards were what everyone chased. The
Jigglypuff is now your new nickname.
I
the
love
shiny
Jigglypuff.
Charizard, the shiny this player, this character, that character. But I had a few characters that were my personal favorites that didn't have the shiny version, so I'd much rather have those.
Well, even look at our teams: the Royals, the A's, and the Twins, all mid-major markets, all have really struggled through the '90s and 2000s. Let's be honest; we've had some seasons, we've had some bright spots. All of our teams have. They've lasted a handful of years. The A's probably more than anybody else, where they've had a couple of sections that were really good, and the Twins even more than the Royals. And then they go back and they're in the cellar and they kind of rebuild.
But I mean, even we were almost contracted to the point that had the 2001, 2002 team runs and those American League Central titles happened, fuck the Yankees, we probably wouldn't be a team anymore.
Okay, funny enough you bring that up. When I was at Chico State, I was a communications major. In one of my speech classes, I wrote a speech about the Twins and being contracted and how Bud Selig brought that up. I went back and found quotes about when he was a kid and the Milwaukee Braves were stolen from him as a child and what that did to him as a child when they moved to Atlanta. And my big argument point was, look what you're doing to all of the fans in Minnesota.
And now it's especially relevant when that Tampa Bay is moving, allegedly, part of the year to Montreal.
Tampa, by the way, or St. Pete, destroyed that because of their contract with the city.
Yeah,
they'll just pay it out.
Jonah Carey had mentioned that this week, and he's like, as a fan, he wrote a book about the Expos called Up, Up, and Away. Great read about the history. I mean, that guy's an encyclopedia of Expos knowledge, but as a journalist, he was like,
Ryan Cracknell.
He's not, but Ryan and Jonah would probably be best friends for life in IRL. But Jonah had mentioned, as an Expos fan, this is great, blah blah blah, and he goes, "Let me take my journalist cap off for a minute. For Tampa Bay, this sucks."
Oh yeah,
because he knows he's felt that pain, and he's like, "I don't wish this upon Tampa."
But look, they almost stole the Giants from us in '93. Had not been for Peter McGowan and the Safeway money and all that stuff. But my thing is did they actually really deserve to get a team in '98?
No.
Go back. They probably shouldn't have. With the size of that market, the building that they were going to play in was decades old at that time. And now is just it's not a good place to go. They've never even when they were good, they were not drawing fans.
I've heard traffic is horrible just because it's kind of on an island, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it's on the wrong side of the bridge or something like that.
And so, I don't like to see teams move. My Ben and I here live in Sacramento, and Seattle and LA tried to steal Anaheim, tried to steal our Kings a couple of times, and it got down to a point where we thought they were gone. What's up?
Yeah, they were already on the airport boarding a plane. I mean, it was like that close.
Yeah, and they got saved, and they're still here. And I don't blame Seattle because their team got stolen from them. But I just don't believe that the Tampa fans have stood up for that team and said, "We don't want you to go," by going to the games.
Well, and that's kind of like the North Stars. Everyone claimed that, the fans didn't attend the game, and that's why. the team had sold out, but there's a whole slew of issues that led up to that.
Yeah.
The management was bleeding money. Allegedly, there was some sexual abuse charges against the owner, and then they got divorced, and then his wife wanted part of the team, and he refused to give the wife part of ownership at the team. So sold it to a market group from Dallas, which moved the team down to Dallas because why wouldn't you? There's reasons, teams move, and it's absolutely crappy when it does. Speaking as someone who's lost a team, and I'm sure Ben can agree, losing his Raiders, that's it's a kick in the gut, and it sucks to happen.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the fans haven't supported that, and it's funny how we got to this conversation. But it's funny to me. The city's not shown that they want to keep the team, and it's not because the stadium is garbage and they probably need a new one, right? We all like new shiny stadiums. I mean, look, the Braves were at Olympic Park,
Field.
Turner Field for like 15 years or 20 years, and then moved away. But
or even more relevant, Ranger Stadium.
I was about to say
gorgeous stadium.
Yeah, and they're moving next year into like the same parking lot right next door.
It's directly across the street, if I'm not mistaken, and all they're doing is adding a roof.
Yeah, the first baseline, I think it is, and the third baseline in the new stadium are like exactly on the same longitude or latitude of
I think
one
it's
another.
third, yeah.
I think it's first in the old stadium and third in the new stadium, I believe.
My thing real quick is like, if you don't support your team, they have the right to leave you, right? If you're in a relationship with someone and you don't support them, they have the right to walk away and say, hey, this isn't for me. And the team, I believe that full-heartedly the team should feel that, has that way. Now, the way the Expos out, the Major League Baseball is the one that really screwed Montreal. The strike really hurt Montreal in the first place. But they were playing in an old stadium that was, at the time, 30 years old, that was falling apart.
It was falling apart when it was built.
Stadium,
yeah. Because when it was built in the late 60s, what four teams came in 69? It was the Padres,
Expos,
Royals,
and the Pilots.
Okay, so I think it was the Padres, if I'm not mistaken, that screwed the Expos. If I remember correctly from Jonah Carey's book, I think the Padres and the Expos were supposed to come in like 71, and the Padres got ready too quick for the Expos, and so they kind of just threw whatever was left of Olympic Stadium together with the intent to, much like Tampa Bay, right? They were never supposed to stay in St. Pete very long. They were supposed to get a state-of-the-art stadium in Tampa, and here it has been, 20 plus years later.
Bad. I mean, Tampa. You look at like the Tampa versus Arizona when they came in together. Arizona kind of went one way and Tampa went another way, and Tampa tried to get big old names and it didn't work out. And they got McGriff and Boggs and Canseco, and then they just blew up on a bunch of high draft picks.
Well, and the Brothman family who owned the Expos, originally, they made their money in the Seagram's wine coolers, that line, and there was a lot of investors that were involved that just wouldn't give them enough money for payroll, and that's why they ended up selling off all of their young talent in the late 70s, guys like Gary Carter, and then say what you will about Tim Raines, guys like Raines and Dawson left in the 80s, and then the slew of talent, the Hall of Fame talent, Larry Walker and Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez and all the guys that came through in the late 80s and early 90s, they just fiscally couldn't keep them together. And Tampa's in the same spot.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, year in, year out, has a competitive team in a small market with no revenues for 10,000 people that go see their games.
Yeah, we see the fans don't support it. Like KC is a very similar market. They've been bad, and they've built through the system. But the fans went to the games, and when they got good, more fans came to the games, and they supported.
Yeah, right.
And even the A's probably attend the Rays.
And they got a horrible stadium.
And they're piss. And I'm really hoping they can get a new stadium to get some more funds to let them keep that team together. But anyway, so no, it just it's like, let them, if you don't support your team, they have the right to leave. But anyway, just going back to collecting as a kid and the monetary stuff, like that really, I love Dan and Doug, but to me it was like, man, like that's what you at 10 or he's a couple years younger than Ben and I, so like at 10 or 12 years old, that's what you were thinking about with your collection. I mean, It was brought to my attention by other. I want to say Chef Chris hit me up in the DMs about collecting, and kids like how he's afraid that base set collectors are going to be gone. Guys like me, because these kids nowadays want hits, they want autographs, they want the low numbered cards, and at some point, do base sets just become 50 or 100 cards of the same players over and over again, and they're just the stars, and that's all we have, and that's what it is. If that comes to it, I'm going to be one sad collector just crying alone here.
Was it Dan or Doug? I missed that. That
it was
building the stadium. So, although what I said was accurate, I didn't care about still don't care about appreciation, depreciation values unless I ever got desperate and had to sell. I will say this: if he built that stadium club set, let's say it cost $1,000, and then all of a sudden, a year, 2 years, 5 years from that date, it's now worth $100. We're all familiar with the Justin Timberlake GIF where he's, kind of staring like, really? I can see you being a little frustrated if there's a precipitous decline over a short period of time. I mean, we've all bought a card that was worth $20 today and it's worth $5 tomorrow. We've all have, stories like that.
But my whole thought is think about the process that he went through as a 9-year-old to do that. Right, he said he was going to the LCS with his dad and buying packs. And they did it through packs, and he goes, "Yeah, I have the memories." I'm like, and it might be different. I mean, maybe it's like it's different for me, not having my pops anymore. But that's what I look back and go, man, like we had some of our best times in some of our biggest fights. And I look back and the times that made me laugh back then and cry back then, do the reverse now. And those arguments make me laugh, and I think about them like, oh my God, how stupid were we arguing about Phil Plantier and Jeff Bagwell and 91 Stadium Club, and just because we put that together, and he did Stadium Club football, which was way a bigger deal. That Emmitt Smith card and stuff, the Brett Favre cards were crazy. So to me, it's just one of those things that I just think that people get lost now, and just what is my card worth right now? What's the newest, hottest thing? And I think a majority of the folks that hang out and pay attention with our podcast are more in our mindset where it's, hey, I have a favorite team player. I'm collecting a certain way. I'm not a ripper and flipper, but I have a feeling, Studio. Oh, man, yeah, Studio was like $3 a pack. And I had a buddy that was in high school, and he could afford that. But
must be nice to have hobbies.
It just, I don't know, man. It kind of kills me a little bit, but that's kind of where everybody wants to be and go.
I was talking to Chris also in DMs, and I see you're seeing more and more of Finest with 125 card base set, Museum at 100, and we're long gone are the days of 660 and 792. Stadium Club at 300. The Big League Baseball, which is what 400 or something like that. Ginter's probably going to be a little higher, but that's just because of all the other stuff included in that set.
Club used to be 3 releases and 2 releases, then became 3.
Yeah,
it was a 1,000 card set. I have like a 4-inch binder of like
92. I think was 1992.
The binder's like this thick because those cards were so thick, dude. I was thinking, I'm going to unpage this thing because this binder's terrible and the pages are starting to stick together, but. Yeah.
One last thing, real quick. We were talking about attendance with these teams.
Yeah.
Miami's dead last, as we expect. They're a little over 9,000.
The ownership's just driving the team into the ground, but
yeah, they're 9,000. They actually have an estimated payroll of $75 million this year. Tampa Bay's 29th at 14.5 a game, $56 million payroll. The Royals are 26th. They've got just at 18. Their payroll's just under 100 million. Oakland is 24th, 18, a little over 18,000. Actually, just under 19,000. So they're outdrawing Tampa by 5,000. Also in an antiquated stadium, they're at 102 million. Minnesota's in the middle of the pack at 24.5. And then
the Giants.
The Giants are. Actually, looks like around the top 10. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. They're 33,000 still.
Wow, and the tickets are still redonkulous.
Yeah, the Dodgers are number 1 at 47.6. St. Louis at number 2 at 42. Yankees at just under 40,000, and the Cubs and Angels and Phillies all around 35
that
to
Yankee number
37.
is inflated because I've seen some highlights of their games, and all the seats where the camera for the games are always empty.
Well, and I would imagine this is
Red Sox are in town.
I imagine this is paid attendance and not physical attendance.
But what I'm saying is you watch some of those Yankee highlights and those empty big blue seats is a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it just kind of throws out the team support. Obviously, Kansas City's a little bit of a surprise because they are having a really bad year. The bottom 5 are Kansas City, Detroit, Baltimore, Tampa, and Miami. And Tampa is one of the best teams in baseball.
First place?
I think the Yankees are in first place. I think Tampa right now holds.
Yeah, the Yankees have been on that little home run.
Top wild card spot. But, above Tampa, you have Baltimore, Detroit, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Oakland, Cleveland, the White Sox, Toronto, Cincinnati, Seattle.
And real quick, Baltimore and Kansas City are the worst 2 teams in Major League Baseball.
And then you get to Minnesota, and then Arizona, Texas, San Diego, Washington. You're getting more into the middle of the road 500 teams, or in Minnesota's case, obviously.
So real quick,
top team this year.
Tampa Bay is in second place in the East. They have 45 wins. Combined, the Orioles and the Royals have 50 wins.
Yeah.
And they're outdrawing them.
And the Orioles are getting about 2,000 more fans a game, and Kansas City's getting just over about 3,500 more, according to, and this is on Baseball Reference for 2019 thus far.
So anyway, just support your team, or they have the right to leave you.
Yeah, it's just interesting, kind of seeing how little. And again, it goes back to the fact that not like the team's not good on a $56 million payroll
with the current Cy Young.
Yeah, they got
and Tommy Pham.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna head out tonight, but I appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight. Love talking the hobby of your Wednesday nights. We always it's always fun to talk on release day. Good way to get through the hump day. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all the platforms, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you find us. Follow us on Twitter About the Cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You always follow me at Big Shep79 and check me out at TBS on eBay. Please make sure to share your hobby stories and great pulls with us. Send them your questions our way, and keep collecting. We'll see you all next week. Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. I forgot Sunday. Breaking news Sunday. We're going to have a secret guest that we're going to announce, and we're going to do a little interview. So we'll see you then. Have a good week.
Have a great